Destroying property of the crown, disturbing the king's peace, take your pick.
What do we do?
Naught else but to fight back. Sink the bastard.
Use the swivels on him!
It's been a while since I played this game, so like I forgot sometimes how to battle.
English frigate! I'll be betwattled, another one. Where in the bloody hell did she come from?
Oh. Just like your grandfather.
Carry on, sailor. Not bad for your first voyage, eh, boy? Now we best be getting back, or the old man'll have my guts for garters.
I got 'em! All of 'em! You get what I need, and I'll give 'em to you. Simple. You got a ship. Could find 'em all to boot.
Who is that man?
Him? Some old salt always on about letters he's got from Captain Kidd. Nonsense, really, but he doesn't hurt no one, so I'll leave him be. Talk to him if you fancy, but be warned he'll chew your ear off. Anyway, the Aquila's here for you. If you should get a pang for the open sea, we'll be waiting. Now, I implore you to head up the hill before the old man comes out of retirement just for me.
Weeks. And not even a goodbye before you left.
Sorry.
Well, what are you waiting for?
The moment.
Put them on.
It's time, Connor.
Once upon a time, we had a ceremony on such occasions. But I don't think either of us are really the type for that. You've your tools and training, your targets and goals. And now you have your title. Welcome to the Brotherhood, Connor.
Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. Actually, the good news between Assassin's Creed, actually, if my recording somehow, like, does not get saved or gets deleted accidentally, I can just simply just, like, relive the memories and just edit it a little bit, and it'll be able to be fixable.
Welcome back, Desmond. You'll be happy to hear there's actually good news for once.
Yeah?
I've managed to locate a power source, and it's relatively close by. Up for a trip to Manhattan?
Is it safe to leave? Abstergo's gotta be looking for us.
Obviously it's not safe. Can't exactly sit around here hoping to get lucky though, can we? We need that power source. Besides, I'm sure you can cook up some way to hide our movements.
Maybe. The Templars have access to all kinds of satellites and camera systems. We'll need to find a way to mask our digital signature. I can probably camouflage the van too. But there's not much I can do for us.
That's an easy one.
The famous hood. Honestly, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. Assassin's Creed kind of made me appreciate wearing hoods as a kid. Like, I always loved wearing hoods, like, because of Assassin's Creed. It just made me feel part of it, and like, I'm sorry.
Utility companies have assured the public that they're completely prepared for the upcoming solar maximum. Disruptions to service are expected to be minimal.
If only they knew.
What's this?
A remote-operated camera. It'll provide us with a feed while you're on mission. This will let us talk to each other.
We're almost there, so listen up. The artifact is in an office penthouse in Lower Manhattan. At this time of night, direct infiltration is going to get you noticed. I think we're better off having you drop in from above.
What do you mean, above?
Parachute. You know, AC3, what it did also better is that they kind of gave more relevance to the modern day story. Like, I think what AC3, yeah, that's what it did better most on.
Can you hear me? Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yep, reach you just fine. Now why don't you power up the camera? I've got pictures. Running diagnostics. Perfect. I've got a nice, strong signal.
Yeah, when it comes to what did each Assassin's Creed did better than most other games? AC1, the original, I have to say dialogue. Because since AC1, it did not have like the best actions for, especially even for its time. Actually, even today, actually more like today's standards. When it comes to a more invested to the AC1, is that you really have to listen to the dialogues of the conversations. That's what it really had the best what it's going for today's standards. AC2, I think I just like mostly just the history of it. And the soundtrack, because that's the origin.
Oh, that's hold still. It's a lovely view.
Seriously, Sean? Fuck you.
Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, I think what it has to do with mostly when it comes to Assassins. Just the creative itself. AC Revelations, the story of the ending. AC3, the modern day story, because it has the most relevance. Black Flag, open world when it comes to seas. It just feels more natural, especially for being a pirate.
No security to worry about.
And on the not so bright side, the slightest misstep means you're effectively paged.
Shut up, Sean.
AC Rogue, I think what it mostly did better, in my opinion, is that it showed a different perspective of when it comes to Assassins and Templars. Like, not everything is always as it seems. Like, yes, AC3 kind of introduced between the both sides of the Templars, like who's right or who's wrong, but AC Rogue is the one that actually kind of developed it a little bit more, especially when it comes to the story, when you're playing as a Templar by the end of the game. I think AC Unity is obviously the best parkour, the graphics, and it had basically,
It'll be fine, don't worry.
like, it's also with Unity, I think what it did better.
I'm pretty sure she was high when she was running the numbers.
Sean!
A joke. It was a joke. Or was it?
Unity, it did bring the graphics, but it also kind of weighed, like, it kind of almost, like, brought the old ways of Assassin's Creed back to the basics, almost. Syndicate, in my opinion, what it did best is traveling when it comes to, like, instead of running all the time, you almost get to feel like Batman using the grappling hook and just climb on buildings and, like, zip lines. And cruise.
Wait for my signal to open the chute. Timing's really important here. Too soon or too late, and you'll miss the building.
Sure.
Now! Open your chute, now!
AC Origins, it just brought the story of the origins of the Creed, obviously. And it's the best RPG out of all the games. Like, it's mostly balanced RPG. Odyssey, even though it's the lowest ranking in my opinion, Odyssey, I kind of feel like, at least in my opinion, it has the best boss fights, because it feels like Skyrim mixed with God of War. So yeah, the boss fights is the best when it comes to Odyssey.
That wasn't so bad.
So, you must be Desmond.
The Templar.
Not exactly what I expected. But I guess your kind doesn't have many options these days.
Who are you?
Ask your father. Now give me that.
I don't think so.
Look. I'm not supposed to kill you. But the boss man didn't say anything about fucking you up. So you got to the counter. Oh!
You know, for a Templar, whatever agent, what I want to call it, you sure got knocked out too easy.
So who the hell is Daniel Cross?
Believe it or not, he used to be an assassin. The assassin, the way I've heard it told, but it turned out he was a sleeper agent for Abstergo, programmed to infiltrate and destroy the organization.
How did he know you were there? We could be compromised.
They must have caught me snooping inside their network and sent Cross to see what we were after. If they were aware of our current location, we'd know. Though, I will say this. It doesn't bode very well for future expeditions.
I've set up some cameras topside. If anyone shows up, we'll see it.
I'd suggest you go see about finding a socket for that power source. Or we can return to Connor if you prefer. All the artifacts in the world won't mean a thing without the key.
Yeah, it was like the first time I played this game, I just simply just went straight to Connor every single time, so by the end of the game I had to like go to redo all the power sources.
I know everyone thinks I'm being silly, but I can't shake the feeling we're being watched.
We are being watched. By Juno. Or some version of her.
Do you think it's a recording? Or is she a ghost? Or something else? Is she talking to us the way Minerva talked to Ezio?
No clue. I mean, who knows what else they were working on down here? There's still so many rooms we don't have access to.
But do you think she's like literally down here, waiting somewhere, still alive?
Just imprisoned.
That's mental. That means she'd be at least 75, 80,000 years old? So powerful, yeah, but not that powerful.
They came down here looking for a way to survive. Maybe they found one. Is it weird seeing Cross?
What do you mean?
It's different for you. You don't know about what happened, I guess. For a long time, he was important to us. He was a different person.
Sean said he was a sleeper agent. Like Lucy.
It was different. She made a choice, but Cross, if you read the files, Abstergo just... They did terrible things to him.
Rebecca?
You're lucky. We all are. We have people who care about us. Who look
I have to
out
look
for
into his
us.
history.
He was all alone, and the people he thought he could trust, they used him.
Did you know him?
No, but I knew Hannah.
Who's that?
She tried to help him. She trusted him. But there was a raid about a year ago. She stayed behind so the others could escape. Tried to reason with him to see if she could fix things.
Well, what happened?
What do you think happened? He killed her. That's what he does. That's all he knows how to do. Sometimes it seems like that's all any of us know how to do.
Rebecca.
Yeah, she's emotional.
I just want to be alone right now. I just want to be alone right now.
Yeah, I think I should definitely look
I just want to
into
be alone right now.
Daniel Cross's history later in my own time. Like, it just makes me curious, because I know he's... Like, I have heard of him before, last time I played this game, but I didn't really pay attention.
Son, I owe you an apology. I shouldn't have lashed out like that. You have to understand, I've never been very good at this. Never mind that we live rather extraordinary lives.
Yeah, I kinda liked my ordinary one.
You can't escape who you are, Desmond.
So I've noticed.
Look, it's silly for us to go back and forth like this. I admit, I did a shitty job raising you. I apologize, I'm sorry. But it's important you understand it didn't come from a bad place. You're my son. I love you. I guess I was so busy trying to make sure nothing bad happened, I didn't consider the consequences. Truce.
I can't believe it's taken me so long to ask, but... How's Mom? She's not...
No. Your mother is fine. We decided it was safer if we split up for this job.
Always assuming the worst.
For good reason.
Can I at least say hi to her?
I'm sorry, it's too risky. Maybe when we're done.
Right. When we're done.
Honestly, guys, that right there, it really... I actually felt that. Like, yes, I actually, if my family watches this video, I don't mean no disrespect, but yes, I actually hated my dad being a kid, and especially being young at that time. I didn't really understand the full picture of everything, but it's just feeling that friends or family, like, there's always gonna be moments I actually do get that, I do get pissed off, but eventually, and I actually do feel sorry, and it's just, like, hating for someone for so long, it could be anybody, like friends, whoever. like it's sometimes it's the in the moment when you get mad at someone, it's a valid reason. But if you hold it for so long, in my opinion, I'm sorry, I don't mean disrespect, but eventually at some point it becomes pointless now. Like, what good is it to you holding it for so long in years that you're just gonna end up destroying yourself? So at least both of them, Desmond and William, like being mad at each other, and then finally they're going like, I'm sorry, like they both apologize. Like, it really hits home for me. And people may or not hate me, but I always do my best not to hate someone anymore. Maybe I will for a while, but eventually I will have to say to like yeah, like I don't hate you anymore. When it comes to friends or family, like maybe I will for a while, which is natural for anybody, but there's always gonna be a time for me. Like I will do better.
Have we ever tried to make peace with the Templars?
Throughout our history, there have been moments. Several, in fact. But it's impossible. There are existential differences, insurmountable. If there were to be unity, it wouldn't be a truce so much as a submission.
But knowing what's about to happen, wouldn't it make sense to try and talk to Vidic? Come to an arrangement, even if it's only temporary?
We'd all be so busy watching our backs, nothing would get accomplished. Imagine that. We're more productive at war.
Well,
Sure.
have we ever tried sending in someone? Doing to them what they did to us with Lucy? Or Cross?
We have, and it's never worked. We've sent people who were either too weak and found themselves turned, or too strong and were unable to carry out the charade.
I just feel like we all want the same thing.
We use the same words, but that's all they are, words. In the end, it all comes down to freedom. We seek it, they detest it. And so there's never an end to the fight. Not until one side is completely gone.
Is that even possible?
Probably not. Our two groups have existed in one form or another since, well, since forever. But things can be better than they are. And that's something.
Okay, that conversation, it really felt different now looking at this, because it's so similar to what Desmond just said, at the same way Connor said, like, isn't there a better way? Isn't there a way to do this or that? Like, there has to be a way that we could come together or, like, respect something, like, even if it's temporal. It's a similar conversation what Connor just said to Samuel Adams, like, there has to be a better way to do this or that. And at least William, he did admit, like, we actually did try, like, sincerely, but it's just simply, like, it doesn't work, like, it can't happen, like, it's, like, these dialogues, looking back at this, it just feels so much deeper and, like, different, and it's amazing, and I love it, like, and it also applies to real life, like, it's actually not that different. So these conversations, like, wow, bro, like, huge respect to them. Like, AC3, when it was released, it really did not get enough appreciation. Like,
Did you look for me, Dad? When I was gone?
Every day.
Come on.
I mean it. Every night I'd look, searching for your name or variations of it, hoping you'd slip up. Abstergo only found you first because they had better access. A few more days and it would have been me.
Well, I'm here now.
And I'm glad.
and I'm here now with my family, and I'm glad for that too.
Do you think Lucy regretted what she was doing?
I used to think I knew her well, but clearly that wasn't the case. So I really can't give you an honest answer.
She seemed so sincere, though. Like she really wanted to make a difference.
Yes, well,
don't they
when I
all
first
do?
met him, I thought the same thing about Cross.
It just keeps happening over and over again.
What does?
Everything.
Don't get weird on me, Desmond.
No, it's fine. I'm fine. Don't worry.
All right, then. You should think about getting back in the Animus. We've got to find that key. We should probably get back to Connor.
Okay, yeah, like, Assassin's Creed 3, it really did the best when it comes to the modern day story, which granted, yes, it had over 3 games to, like, polish it, like that's fair to say. But it's like AC3 is what truly like they mostly did their investment on the modern day, like because it's like the build up to this. So like these type of conversation is what makes it amazing. Like wow.
Ah, Desmond, there you are. Can I ask a favor?
Maybe.
When this is all over, I'd like to try turning the dial back on the Animus. Like, all the way back. To the time of the first civilization.
You think it would work?
There was no real loss of fidelity when you visited Altair. Then again, that was about 1,000 years ago, and I'm looking at going back at least 70,000 more.
Sure, I'd be up for it. Be interesting to see what things were like back then.
Excellent. I think it would prove most enlightening.
To be fair, I would think the same thing if I was in Sean's position. Like, it's like, why not? If you're the world's saved and you're fine, you're safe, and like, this is something can really help you in the long run, why not do it?
So this is how it started.
What are you up to?
Just brushing up on my American history. I say history. They certainly teach you strange things in the States.
Like what?
Well, for all the talk of this being a revolutionary war, it was a civil one. Well, not that kind of civil. I mean, there was no America versus Britain. It was Brit on Brit action. And you can clearly see how the whole thing got started. One war gave birth to the other.
You mean the 7 Years' War?
Exactly. Seems the Crown overspent in its attempt to keep the French out, wound up with a great deal of debt. Believing that the colonists should help to shoulder the burden, new taxes were created. It was a reasonable request, even if Parliament was rather, well, undiplomatic about it.
Well, it's not really fair to tax people for a war they didn't want any part of.
What? Didn't want any part of? Did you not notice George Washington with Edward Braddock? He was right there in the middle of it.
True.
So here you have the Crown spending who knows how much money to secure a place for the colonists to thrive, and then, when they ask for a little bit of help... Right, look, think of it this way. King George and the colonists, they all go out to dinner, right? And when the bill comes, George asks for them to kick in and pay their share. Fair enough. But keep in mind, he's been taking them out to dinner gratis for decades now. The colonists, oh no, they insist they only had a glass of water and a side salad. Never mind the table's full of half-eaten food and empty bottles of wine. Now, when the king points this out, what do the colonists do? Oh, they flip the table over and they storm out the restaurant. Probably intending to return later and burn it down.
You left out the part where the king pointed a gun at the colonists and asked them to cover dinner for everyone in the restaurant.
Right, yeah, interesting take. If he pulled out a gun, and I'm not sure he did, it would only have been after the 100th failed attempt at getting them to pay their fair share.
But how do you define someone's fair share?
Oh, well, with a war, apparently. I wonder how many other places like this exist.
There are dozens of them, all over the world.
And somehow no one's ever found one before us.
I don't think that's true.
Oh?
When I was at Abstergo, Vidic talked about silencing discoveries made by non-Templars. And I'm sure Abstergo has dug up plenty.
The things they must know.
Regretting throwing in with us?
No. Just looking forward to when we can finally trounce those bastards so I can dive into their archives.
I guess Sean's really appreciated when it comes to knowledge and history.
Oh, I think I found a lead on another power source. Later, Desmond. I'm in the middle of something very important right now. That's a rule. Just follow that as a rule.
Alright. And I don't really pay attention to the emails because I just don't see the point of it, guys. But if someone tells me why it's relevant to look at them, then let me know. But for now, like, I just don't see it. I just don't see the reason.
In the beginning, when we thought we could be saved, we sought to face the sun's wrath and contain it. 4 towers would be built to pull her fury into this place and dispel it. But even with all we knew, with all we had, it would take too long. 1,000 years we could labor and still the work would not be done. The first tower was never completed. The project abandoned. We moved on. But while we labored on other endeavors, a few returned. They thought to automate the process. Metal might finish what flesh could not. If we could not meet the sun's cruel embrace, perhaps we might rebuke it. Already we could generate fields to protect us in times of strife.
Looks like Star
But
Wars.
these were small and simple things. To replicate them on a scale the size of a world. We lack the energy to make it so. Half the world, they said then. It is better than none at all. We tried. Again, we failed. A quarter, they asked. Even this we could not do. A sixth, an eighth, a tenth, they cried. The answer was still the same. Perhaps in time a city might be spared. But it was time we did not have. So we moved on.
It just sucks how the way they killed Juno off, they said from a comic book or something like that. I don't know, from, like, I feel like the end game when it comes to Juno's villain story, it was wasted potential, what they did.
Wonder what's inside.
Only one way to find out.
Alright, since the conversation's done and the power source is in, I guess there's only one thing to do, is just go back in. It's this. Oh. Honestly, I really just don't see the point of this. I really don't. So, I just... Huh. Modern Tower? I can actually replay these missions? Wow. Okay, I guess that can come in handy.
Good luck, Desmond.
These are troubled times. The already uneasy alliance between the Crown and its subjects frays. And behind them both the Templars plot, pulling strings and moving pieces. History dictates they seek order through control. But how will they affect it here? Who supports them? And what conspiracies have they already spun? All these things I must determine. For only by knowing my enemy can I hope to stop them.
Croner's growing.
Connor, spare a moment.
Of course.
Have a look.
Useful.
What is it?
A Xingbao, or rope dart if you prefer. One of the many plans given to us by Xiao Yun to...
Xiao Yun?
Sorry.
We'll have to work on this.
Oh my gosh, Xiao Yun. I think is that really the same character from Embers, of Assassin's Creed Embers? Okay, yeah, I'm actually getting more interested to actually play her character now from Chronicles.
Anandogo,
Yes, my friend.
what brings you here? Is the village all right?
For now.
What do you mean? What has happened?
Men came, claiming we had to leave. They said that the land was being sold, and that the Confederacy had consented. We sent an envoy, but they would not listen.
You must refuse!
We cannot oppose the Sachem, but you're right as well. We cannot give up our home.
Do you have a name? Do you know who is responsible?
He's called William Johnson.
Where is Johnson now?
In Boston, making preparations for the sale.
Sale! This is theft!
Connor, take care. These men are powerful.
What would you have me do? I made a promise to my people.
If you insist upon this course of action, seek out Sam Adams in Boston. He'll be able to help. What have you done?
When my people go to war, a hatchet is buried into a post to signify its start. When the threat is ended, the hatchet is removed.
You could have used a tree.
Here's the thing though, actually, a lot of people are understandable that they actually said that why did people not like Connor sometimes when it comes to characters? Because here's the thing that a lot of people saw the difference between Ezio and Altair is that Connor, he actually said multiple times that, what would you have me do? What can I do? What should I, like, he always relied on people to tell him, like, what is the best course of action. Like, he didn't do not too much of something to do for himself. Like, yes, he did a couple times, but they said that most of the time, he actually asked other people's opinion too much as well.
Bloody hell! Can you help me?
You know, for people who actually did not do this mission, you guys are actually dicks to, or assholes to ignore her.
Are you all right?
What do you think?
How did this happen?
Poachers in the woods. I asked them to leave. This was their answer.
Come on. We need to get that arm looked at.
What if the men who did this?
They can wait. Your wound cannot.
Yeah, this is why I like the homestead missions of Connor.
You'll be able to make it to the house.
Yes. I think the ball took only flesh.
And what is your name?
Miriam.
Do you live nearby?
I don't have a home per se. I took to the frontier when I was a young girl. I've made my life out here ever since. Living where the land makes it easiest.
Not a common choice for a woman of the colonies.
No, it's not. But truth be told, it was this, the convent or the brothels. I prefer the open air.
Fair, actually, in her perspective. Like, I don't blame her. Xiao Yun! Okay, yeah, it really is her from the rope dart. Oh my god, like... Okay, yeah, I'm actually more curious now to play her story in Chronicles. Yes, Chronicles is not the best game to play when it comes to standards of the other games, but just for these references of Ezio and, like, on Connor from AC3, and, like, just the story, like, she was the one last assassins to, like, see Ezio before he died. It kind of adds it. Yeah, I think I will do it, Chronicles, at some point.
Connor, what are you doing?
Those poachers need to be stopped.
Saw the scabs from my hunting blind. Get to that, and you shouldn't have any trouble finding them.
Use the rope dart if you can. Get familiar with it.
Actually, the rope dart actually is very useful. It's good in combat, it's good for hunting when it comes to small animals, and it's good for takedown tactics. Yeah, these little things that I'm noticing now, finally, after coming back to these games, it makes me really appreciate it. Moments like these references I don't pick up on when I first time played it. Like, yeah, AC3 really kind of has moved higher up when it comes to enjoying it now. Because these small conversations, these references, that's what makes it great. And the character story. You know, what makes me question though, when will I play Assassin's Creed Chronicles? Like, it's kind of hard to say because these little references, it makes me kind of like appreciate Shan Yu's character a little bit more, like little by little, and like gets me kind of like interested to play her, even though the gameplay is not the best, but so fine. But I'm just not sure when I would play Chronicles yet.
Johnson's opening up some of that Mohawk land he purchased for free hunting soon. Might be we make a good haul up there.
I hear tell lumbering will be allowed to boot.
What does he want with it?
And not just that, when it comes to the rope dart, when it comes to small animals, like let's say, I don't know, bobcat or something, it's actually a lot quicker to use as a secondary weapon than a bow. Because like, maybe a bow takes like 5 seconds or less, but the rope dart comparing it, actually it's almost instant.
Hey! Where are you, fellas? Shooting strangers in the forest, is that common hunting practice where you come from?
No! Spare me! Go! Tell the friends you have left what happened here.
You know, to be fair, when it comes to Connor, he actually is not, like, he's not completely, like, ruthless or brutal. Like, he just literally shows, like, he does have his moments of honor, like he had his right to kill him, but he chose him to spare him twice, I think. And by the time at the end of the game, like, okay, yeah, this is enough now. Like, you're dying. So yeah, Connor does have honor.
Thank you, Achilles.
You are most welcome.
Why did those men attack you?
It's no secret this land is full with game. I spotted the trespassers en route to request permission to hunt here myself, and suggested they do the same.
The bounty of the forest is not mine to give. It is your right to hunt on this land, but I would appreciate you trading your surplus with the others.
Very well. I accept.
This is a good deal, actually. Like, he's literally saying, like, I'm not exactly per se the landowner. Like, you can hunt here all you like, but yeah, like, at least give someone to contribute for trading to the homestead. So, like, you can live here, you can hunt wherever you want, just, you know, compensation, I guess, if you want to call it. So it's actually a good deal, and, like, and he's kind to her. So, like, these homestead missions, like, it's almost as if you're not really gonna get any better deal than this. Okay, let's see here. Homestead mission. Okay, I'll do that later, but I want to go check this out first. This conversation with the guy. And honestly, guys, the trinkets is actually worth doing. Like, and the ward is actually not so bad, because if you do the trinkets and you do eventually the side mission stuff, there's a couple of chests along the way, and it has a good amount of money. So, if you don't want to do it for the ring, do it for the money, I guess. So. And I guess the third reason, if you want to get it, to the trinkets, eventually at some point, the third reward is you get a new outfit.
Yama.
To what do I owe this great honor, Captain?
The letters you speak of, what are they?
Oh, now you want to know. Captain Kidd's letters, boy. He hid a great treasure somewheres and sent letters to 4 of his crewmen along with a strange piece of leather. If you find the men, you'll find the scallywag. It's that easy, 'tis.
May I see them?
You might be a captain, but you're not too bright, are you? I'll barter with them. You give me some trinkets I like, and I'll give you a letter. Building my own treasure cache, see?
Trinkets? Like what? Where?
Use your imagination, Captain. There's interesting swag all over the frontier.
I got a few trinkets, but I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's not enough to get the first letter. Unless I did. Oh, I actually did get one.
What you got for me? Ah, you brought me some good pieces. That's worth a letter to be sure. Here you go, Captain.
I will be back for the rest.
Oh, I don't have enough for the next one? Yeah, I need one more trinket. You know what? Let's do the homestead mission. And then I think it should be enough for this playthrough. I don't know, playthrough episode, whatever you want to call it. And then obviously, after I'm done with the mission, and I'm going to do the red trinkets and the side stuff off screen, and since I'm no longer wanted, I'll do the delivery, mail, whatever missions as well, so. Maybe try to do some investing, but when it comes to investing, I'm not really good at this game when it comes to that, compared to the Ezio trilogy, because it's a lot easier than one of the other ones. To craft weapons and tools, you need to gain resources.
arcana. It has occurred to me that the times we live in will be looked upon by future generations with a certain degree of scrutiny, no matter the outcome. With that in mind, I think it valuable to record the goings-on around the homestead. A true log of how people lived during this time of transition. Something to help color the portrait. What do you think?
When I find a moment, I will try.
Very good.
So, what the? Oh, the trinket thing. I forgot about that. Okay, so I'll do the trinkets off screen and... Man, that's nothing here for now on this one. Let's see what's over here. Okay, so what we have is the main mission, the Harbinger Fast Travels, carrier missions, I'll get that stuff later, and treasure chests, and then fast travel tunnels I'm gonna have to do off screen. Anyways, guys, I think this is gonna be the good place to stop. Like, I'm gonna need a break, and then we're gonna have some lunch, and then do the whatever personal stuff, and then I'll do all this little mini, these mini side quest stuff, off screen as usual. And then by the time I come back, they should be complete for most part, and then I will continue straight to the main mission in the next episode. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and if you have any suggestions of games you want me to play in the future or at some time, please let me know in the comments down below. And I love you guys, and be safe. Oh yeah, brother, I hope you're enjoying this video too. Miss you guys. Bye.